Kaduna State House of Assembly member Honourable Usman Garba, popularly known as Zingo, has been kidnapped by armed terrorists in yet another shocking attack that has sent alarm bells ringing across the entire northwest region. The lawmaker, who represents Kajuru Constituency, was abducted on Wednesday evening, February 11, 2026, while returning from an official engagement in Zamfara State to Kaduna, and the manner in which this kidnapping was carried out shows just how brazen and confident these criminals have become. According to reports from security journalist Bakatsine, who broke the news on social media, armed bandits double-crossed Garba's vehicle somewhere near the Kaduna metropolis along the Zamfara highway, forcibly pulled him out of his car, bundled him into their own vehicle, and sped off, leaving his driver behind, completely traumatized and helpless. The driver immediately rushed to the nearest police station to report what had just happened, but by the time security operatives arrived at the scene, the terrorist had already disappeared with the lawmaker into the vast ungoverned spaces that these criminal networks now control across Kaduna, Zamfara, Katsina, and Sokoto states. What makes this abduction particularly disturbing is that as of the time reports emerged, the kidnappers had not even made contact with Garba's family or the Kaduna State Government to make any ransom demands, which means the lawmaker is being held in an unknown location under unknown conditions while his loved ones and constituents wait anxiously for any news about his welfare. This kidnapping of a sitting state legislator is not an isolated incident, but rather part of a terrifying pattern where the northwest highways have essentially become hunting grounds for armed gangs who operate with shocking impunity. Just one day before Honourable Garba was taken, armed bandits attacked vehicles carrying traders from Kaura Namoda local government area to Talata Mafara local government area in Zamfara State, opening fire on the vehicles and injuring several passengers who are now receiving treatment at Mafara Hospital. The very fact that a member of the Kaduna State House of Assembly, someone who makes laws for the state and is supposed to be protected by the government, can be kidnapped in broad daylight along a major highway shows just how completely the security situation in the northwest has deteriorated. Kajuru, the constituency that Honourable Garba represents, has itself been a flashpoint of violence for years. The area has witnessed repeated clashes, bandit attacks, kidnappings, and killings that have claimed hundreds of lives and displaced thousands of residents. For the elected representative of such a troubled constituency to now become a victim of the very insecurity he was working to address creates a particularly painful irony that is not lost on anyone paying attention to this crisis. The highways connecting Kaduna to Zamfara, Katsina, and Sokoto have become death traps where travelers face the constant risk of ambush, kidnapping, robbery, or outright murder by heavily armed criminal groups. These bandits have sophisticated weapons, good intelligence networks that help them identify valuable targets, motorcycles that allow them to quickly strike and disappear into forests, and most worryingly, they seem to operate without serious fear of consequences from security forces. If you are finding this breakdown of the worsening security crisis in the Northwest helpful and want to stay updated on these critical developments, please hit that subscribe button right now and turn on your notifications so you never miss important security news like this. The kidnapping of Honourable Garba comes at a time when the Northwest is experiencing what can only be described as a complete breakdown of state authority in many areas. Just 2 days before this lawmaker was taken, heavily armed bandits riding on nearly 100 motorcycles stormed Tsekaseve village in Katsina Ala local government area of Benue State, killing 2 police inspectors and 4 civilians while stealing their service rifles. This pattern of attacks on security forces, theft of their weapons, and brazen kidnappings of high-profile individuals, including lawmakers, shows that these criminal networks are not just after money, but are actively challenging the authority of the Nigerian state itself. The fact that these terrorists can identify a state legislator, track his movements, know when he is traveling through their territory, set up an ambush, successfully kidnap him despite whatever security arrangements he might have had, and escape without being caught tells you everything you need to know about the balance of power in these areas right now. Either the bandits have informants embedded within communities and possibly even within government circles who tip them off about valuable targets, or the security presence along these highways is so weak and ineffective that criminals can operate openly without fear. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu recently authorized the deployment of 200 American troops to Nigeria specifically to help train Nigerian forces in fighting Islamist militants and bandits, and the U.S. carried out airstrikes on Christmas Day targeting terrorist camps in Sokoto. Yet, despite this increased international military cooperation and the deployment of Operation Savannah Shield across the northwest, the kidnappings continue, the highway ambushes continue, the village raids continue, and now even lawmakers are being snatched in broad daylight. This raises serious questions about strategy, intelligence gathering, troop deployment, and whether the current approach is working at all. The kidnapping of Honourable Usman Garba ZINGO will likely lead to another round of condemnation statements from government officials, promises of rescue operations, and assurances that security has been beefed up. But unless there is a fundamental change in strategy, tactics, and commitment of resources, these incidents will keep happening. What do you think the government should do differently to end this kidnapping crisis? Should there be a complete military lockdown of the northwest highways until these bandit networks are destroyed, or would that create its own problems? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below.